Okay, well, let's begin. So just a big welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're happy to have you. And I would just like to share with you a little bit about Westworld Tours. So we're going to begin our presentation here this evening. And this evening we are going to be talking about our Northern Lakes of Italy and Eastern Mediterranean cruise. Okay, so joining me to tell you about the incredible sights that you'll see on this Northern Lakes of Italy cruise is Cindy Erickson, tour coordinator with Westworld Tours and Women Explorers. And before Cindy takes over, I will just tell you a few other things. Okay, so if you have any questions this evening, we welcome them at any time throughout the presentation. We do have everyone on mute, so please type your questions into the Q&A box located at the bottom of your screen, or you can type them into the comment section as well, or the chat section, sorry, on your screen at any time. And we can answer as many as we can at the end of the presentation. Now, if you've joined us from Facebook, you won't be able to see the Q&A box or the comments or the chat section on Zoom, but feel free to type your questions into the comment section of Facebook. So now that fall is in full swing and it's getting a little colder outside, we are happy to share that we will be having a few more presentations this month. So we hope that you're able to enjoy or to join us. And we just want to let you know next week, we will be talking about our Women Explorers Morocco program. The week after, we'll be talking about our Antarctica program, which I'm really excited about. And November 22nd is Alaska and the Yukon. And then we will finish off this year with our Iceland presentation on November 29th. Now, these are all at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So next week, if you're joining us from other provinces, you will see a little bit of a time change, so don't forget that. Okay, and now, this is our Women Explorers program. So with this, we are going to be sharing our Women Explorers Morocco tour with you next week. And that's our April to May 5th departure. And so it's just an amazing exploration of this country. As you can see on the map here, you get to, you fly into Casablanca and home from Marrakesh, and you get to visit all these really neat places. So we're really excited to share that with you next week. And if you have any inquiries or any questions about any of the tours that we are sharing, you can definitely email us at inquiries@westworldtours.com. And so a little bit about us. If you've never traveled with us before or heard of us before, we are Western Canada's premier tour company, and we have been serving Canadians from coast to coast with escorted travel throughout North America and around the world since 2000. We're really excited to be celebrating our 25th anniversary in 2025. So we present quality components, including modern, comfortable coaches, professional tour directors, experienced, courteous drivers, baggage handling, and excellent accommodations. And like I said, we are celebrating our 25th anniversary in 2025. So we would like to know where you would like to see that tour go. We're still
Well, Leanne's a little frozen here, so I think she was talking about where you would like to see our 25th anniversary tour go in 2025. It's still in the planning stages, so if you have the opportunity, you can put it in the chat box and send us a message on Facebook and let us know where we should travel to in 2025 on our anniversary tour. It's going to be a special one for us because we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. So I'll just move along here until Leanne can pop back in. I don't know if you're aware, but when you travel with Westworld Tours and Women Explorers, you're contributing to the restoration of ecosystems, biodiversity, and supporting local communities. We recently partnered with Trees for Travel organization, and 2 trees are planted on your behalf to help compensate for some of the carbon emissions produced by your trip. Trees are obviously one of the most powerful absorbers of carbon emissions, and by planting and growing trees in developing countries, together we are building a more sustainable and equitable world. So we are very proud to be participating with Trees for Travel. And this evening, yes, we are talking about the President's Collection Tour, which is to the northern lakes of Italy and the Eastern Mediterranean cruise. This tour is going to start June 14th and go to return home on the 29th of June. And majestic mountain cliffs sinking into tranquil crystal waters and colorful flower fields rolling into the distance, creating a stunning backdrop for one of Italy's most famous destinations, its northern lakes. There's you can boat across the water of Lake Como and watch the extravagant villas pass by you. Wander the streets of the many lakeside towns with a gelato in hand, always a good idea. You can have lunch on a lakeside terrace, sipping a refreshing white wine or perhaps a spritz. And you'll top it all off with a 7-night cruise on the Eastern Mediterranean. So by the way, I should introduce myself. I'm Cindy Erickson, tour coordinator with Westworld Tours. And I do see that Leanne has joined us again. So welcome back, Leanne.
I'm so sorry. I am not sure what happened there. All of a sudden I'm talking and nobody is there. So I apologize for cutting you guys off there. But you're doing a great job.
No
Thanks
for So I will continue on, Leanne, and then we'll bring you back at the end here and we can answer any questions and go from there. So the power of technology, it's great when it works and a lot it makes it life interesting when it doesn't. But anyway, back to our trip. June is a great time to visit the lakes region of Italy. The weather's great, the flowers are blooming, the water's warming up, and the crowds are smaller. On this particular tour on your slide, I have a map here so you can have a visual of where we're going to be going, some of the places that we'll be staying, an overall view. I like to be able to look at where I'm going, and so this map will provide you with a good overview. We're going to fly into Milan, and that's where we're going to start the tour. We'll tour through the Italian Lakes District for 8 days, visiting Lake Como, Lake Maggiore, Lake Orta, and Lake Garda. And then we're going to board the ship in Ravenna and cruise the Eastern Mediterranean for 8 days. You'll visit the beautiful, glorious island of Santorini, one of my favorites, which happens to be the background behind me. You'll stop in Athens, Greece, which is always an incredible place to visit. Kotar, Montenegro, which is one of my favorite stops on the cruise, pardon me, and touch into Croatia as well and stop in the city of Zadar. Then we'll sail back into Ravenna. We'll transfer to the airport in Bologna, and you'll fly home from there. Or if you choose to extend your stay and explore more of Italy, you can do that as well. As you can see, we've listed some of the highlights here, gone over a bit more of the inclusions to give you a great idea. We're going to do boat tours on Lake Como. We'll tour boat tours on Lake Orta, San Guilo, the botanical gardens. We'll have stop for an olive oil museum, which is very interesting. And we'll do a wine tasting and tour, stopping at a Parmigiano factory, and we'll have taste there as well. So some real savory little stops. There's a number of meals included on this tour. And then on board the cruise ship, all your meals are included on board. We have cocktail party. We'll have a welcome cocktail party. Really is a lovely tour with a lot of beautiful sights to see and wonderful inclusions. So day one is welcome to Italy. Arriving off your international flight into Milan, as I mentioned, you'll clear customs and immigration and then transfer to your hotel, which is located on the lakeshore in the town of Bavino on Lake Maggiore. You're going to be staying there for 3 nights. That evening is when we will have our welcome reception, and you'll have a chance to get to know your fellow travelers a little bit better. Always a fun evening. Now, Lake Maggiore, pardon me, Lake Maggiore, wow, I'm going to have trouble with these Italian words tonight, I can tell already, has been dubbed the Eden of Italy and is known throughout Italy for its beautiful botanical gardens and some of Italy's most stunning lakeside villas built by the Italian aristocratic families in the early 1600s. And the images here are of our hotel, actually, that we'll be staying at when we are in Bavino. So here we've got on the top right an image of the lobby. The stunning stained glass ceiling there is just absolutely amazing. As you can see on the right-hand side, it has a full service spa as well. Bottom left-hand corner is a picture of the inside pool at the hotel. On the bottom right-hand side of the screen is a picture of the outdoor pool, which is lakeside, offering some beautiful views. And in the center there is just a shot of one of the restaurants at the hotel. And it does, as you can see, have incredible views overlooking the Lake Maggiore. So the enchanting little lakeside town of Bavino is your home for the next 3 nights, as I mentioned. It is of Roman origin and is famous for its mineral water springs and its quarries of pink granite, which I'm sure we've all seen that pink granite before, as well as a beautiful holiday resort town. Since the mid-19th century, many internationally famous personalities have come to vacation in Bavino, staying in one of the many opulent villas lining the shores of the lake. The town itself has a beautiful lakefront promenade that offers wonderful views of the Borromean Islands, which can be reached by boats leaving from the harbor, which is really close to where our hotel is. So when you're staying there over the 3 nights, be sure to get out and explore some of the sites around the hotel. In a short walking distance is a 16th century cobbled square located in the historic center of Bavino called Della Chiesa, where the parish church is located. And the church there, it does date back to the 10th century, and it's definitely worth a visit. And if you have more time, another stop that is really worthy of your visit is to the Borromean Islands, which I'd mentioned earlier. The aristocratic Borromeo family purchased 3 rocky islands off the shores in the 16th century and transformed them into private family residences. They're absolute masterpieces, complete with stunning villas and beautiful manicured gardens. The majority of these islands are still owned by the family today, and they are one of Lake Maggiore's most famous attractions, as you can see from the images here of the gardens and the little islands themselves. They're just off the shore, I should say, located right in the lake, and definitely worth a visit if you have the time to get out there while you're staying in the Lake Maggiore area. And the next day, you're going to spend a full day touring through Italy's enchanting Lake District. You're going to travel by coach from our hotel to our first stop, which is historic Como town, which is located on the shores of its namesake, Lake Como. Obviously, Lake Como is probably one of the more famous of the northern lakes of Italy, one that you may have heard the name of more frequently than perhaps Lake Maggiore. Interestingly, Como was conquered by the Romans in 196 BC and became part of the Roman Empire under Julius Caesar. And during that time, the village experienced a period of luxury and became an important center for trade. Wealthy aristocrats and other notable figures settled here to enjoy its mild temperatures and experience both its natural and man-made beauty. Ruins of the Roman baths can still be seen today. You're going to be met by a local specialist, and you'll walk the lovely narrow streets and stroll the beautiful waterfront on a guided tour here. Then we will jump on the ferry to our next stop, which is a quaint fishing village that captures the romance and beauty of the Italian Lakes region, with a stunning lakeside location, a charming old town, beautiful villas with botanical gardens, and a medieval castle with jaw-dropping panoramic views, Verina. Verina is one of the most beautiful and most picturesque towns on Lake Como. So we'll take the time to visit the lovely Church of San Giorgio, a 14th century church that makes an iconic focal point in the Verina skyline. Of course, no visit to Verina is complete without walking along the Riva Grande, which is the lakeside promenade, lined with benches, gelaterias, and a few cafes and bars. Verina is small, but there's a lot to explore here. And depending on what you're interested in, and you end up doing, you can easily spend a couple of hours here. But don't forget to give yourself time for a coffee or a gelato, or both perhaps. The images here, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, are in Verina. And we've got the Villa Monastero, which on the right-hand side of your screen, with its manicured gardens. And then the other shot there on the top right, that image is just a picture of Verina from the water. And the bottom two images are like your typical streets that you will see as you stroll through the town itself, little street side sidewalk cafes, probably waterside cafes, lakeside cafes. So be sure to sit down and enjoy and soak up the atmosphere. After we've toured through Verina, we're going to spend some time, we're going to jump on the ferry again and carry on touring through Lake Como, and we're going to come to the town of Bellagio. And it's one of the most glamorous and romantic destinations on Lake Como. In fact, it's well known as the Pearl of Lake Como, and is home to a colorful historic center. Again, beautiful gardens, charming villas, parks, wonderful neighborhoods, and much more. So you'll have time as well, pardon me, to explore the town of Bellagio. That's pretty much your day 2. So you're covering Lake Como on day 2, and on day 3, in the morning, we're going to depart for Lake Orta, which is one of the least known Italian lakes. Yet it's considered to be the most characteristically Italian. You can explore the small evil town of San Guio, which is surrounded on 3 sides by Lake Como, and it offering incredible views. It's wonderful for wandering the cobbled streets and alleys. You can maybe enjoy a charming lunch on a lakeside terrace somewhere. Then we're going to take a short boat trip on the lake to the island of San Giulio, which is the island pictured on the left-hand side of your screen. The island has a little road running around it called the Way of Silence, which leads past the ancient villas, the walled gardens, and little alleys that go down to the calm waters of the lake. And as you walk around the island in either direction, you can read the messages of Mother Canope. As you walk, pardon me, in either direction, she will just give you words of wisdom with respect to silence. And when you walk in the reversing direction, she'll give you words of wisdom and the power of meditation. Now, on the island itself, it is a Benedictine monastery, which was founded in 1973. And the cloistered nuns who live there permanently, there's about 80 of them. It really is a charming place, and you're going to want to spend some time just doing the walk, checking out the villas. There's a beautiful church there that you need to stop in to visit. And now traveling on our way back, we're going to travel back to Bovino, and we're going to stop in Verbania to visit the Villa Taranto Gardens. The Villa Taranto Gardens is a beautiful botanical garden. It's located in the town of, Verbania. And it's on the western shore of Lake Maggiore. And it's known for its stunning collection of plants, trees, flowers from all over the world. The garden was created by Captain Neil McEachran, who was actually a Scottish naval officer who purchased the villa in 1928 and turned the grounds into the garden of his dreams. And it's open now for everyone to enjoy. There's, pardon me, with 7 kilometers of manicured paths and walkways to explore, it makes for a gorgeous afternoon stop on an amazing natural open air museum. Day 4 is our moving day. So this morning, we're going to check out of the hotel. We're leaving Lake Maggiore behind, and we're going to depart for Lake Garda, arriving at the lakeside town of Desenzano, which is one of Lake Garda's most important centers. It's home to monuments of historical importance, such as the ruins of an ancient Roman villa. They've done recent excavations and restoration of the Roman villa, and you can explore the remains and view the impressive mosaics that were uncovered in a modern museum, which is located right on the site. And here I've got some images of the hotel. In the bottom left-hand side corner, that is the villa. Oh, pardon me. There, whoa, touchy mouse. Sorry, everybody. We have the bottom left-hand side of your screen is the hotel that we'll actually be staying in for 5 nights. And that is the Villa Rose Hotel. And it is located right on the shoreline of the lake. A beautiful, charming place. And on the top right-hand side of your screen, you've got one of the streets within the town of Desenzano where we'll be staying. And then on the top right is, again, just another image of the beautiful town that you'll be staying in. The bottom right image is a shot of the ancient Roman ruins, the villa of the ruins. So you make sure that you get a chance to get out there and check that out. And then in the center is the Desenzano Castle. It's been covered. You can still walk on part of the walls, and you can climb up the tower of the actual castle ruins. And there's some remains of a drawbridge there. And once you reach the top of the tower, you'll have some incredible views over Lake Garda. Definitely worth a visit. Day 5 is the visiting, the town, the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Mantua. So after we have a relaxing morning at our hotel, we're going to visit this town, which is designated as the Italian capital of culture and gastronomy. And we'll have a guided walk here with a local guide. Obviously, nobody knows the intricacies of the town better than the locals do. So we always include specialists that come on board and join us on these types of tours. So you get the in-depth, firsthand knowledge of the destination or the city or the town that we're visiting. Anyway, on your guided city tour, you're going to discover what makes Mantua an UNESCO World Heritage Site. On a tour through the historic center, you're going to hear the legends of this picturesque lakeside town, known as the birthplace of opera. It's the setting of Verdi's Rigoletto and the place of banishment for Shakespeare's star-crossed Romeo. You can stroll through romantic piazzas, elegant villas, and past medieval landmarks. After the tour, you'll have time to explore this lovely city on your own, and make sure you find a nice cafe in one of the beautiful piazzas to enjoy an aperitivo. And while you sit and relax and soak up the atmosphere, Italians love to sit and sip a glass of wine or have their aperitivo with an Aperol spritz in the afternoon, and just watch life go by. It really is a wonderful experience. The images here on the screens we've got on the top left-hand side is an image really of the one of the piazzas in the town of Mantua, and above it you'll see the astronomical clock there, which is one of the first clocks of its type in Europe, and it was actually built in the year 1473. On the bottom left-hand side of your screen, as well as the top right-hand side of your screen, those are images of the Ducale Palace, and it's an amazing structure, huge, and I'm sure that will be part of your sites when you're visiting Mantua. In the center of your screen is the famous Opera House in Mantua, which is absolutely gorgeous. It has it's bell-shaped. Most opera's houses are not bell-shaped, but it's a very unique design and an incredible building. On day 6, you're going to venture out to visit another UNESCO-listed city, Verona, famously known as the city where Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet took place. Verona offers history, beautiful architecture, great food, and culture. We will be doing a guided city tour here again with a local, and we will see the famous Juliet's balcony, which is located in the very heart of Verona. You need to wander down this little road of 23 Via Capello, and you'll find it, the Casa di Giulietta. The covered passageway is known as Juliet's Wall, and it's a place that you have to experience for yourself to really grasp how cool of a sight it is. You can see the images there on the top right-hand side of your screen. You'll pass along it to reach the medieval house. The wall is covered in graffiti, post-it notes, and old-school handwritten letters. So if any of you have already seen the film Letters to Juliet, then you'll know the premise. Each year, thousands of individuals send letters addressed simply to Juliet, and there really are secretaries of Juliet based in the city of Verona, ready to answer the many messages that are left for her. In the little courtyard opposite the statue of Juliet and the Juliet balcony there, you can see in the bottom left-hand side of your screen, opposite that, you're going to find that little small red letter box, which is affixed to the wall, which is the image on the top left side of your screen, where you can leave your letter if you wish, and you will be answered by the secretaries of Juliet. There will be many other sites and stops, of course, on the tour, including the Roman Theater, which is built in the 1st century AD, and many more. After leisure time, you'll have, after the tour, you'll have some leisure time to explore the city a little bit more. These are just some of the images of around Verona, and you can see on the top left-hand side of your screen, that is the Roman Theater, and they still do perform opera productions here regularly. So that would be amazing to catch an opera in Verona in the Roman Theater. On the bottom left side of your screen, which looks like the Colosseum of Rome, although it's not, that's the Roman Arena in Verona. So a lot of Roman history here in the city of Verona as well. And the center shot is just your typical shopping street. That's Anastasia Street, which is typically known as the shopping street in Verona. And on the top right is the picture of the Castel Vecchio Bridge, which you will cross over, and it connects to the Museum of Verona. And then on the bottom right is one of the piazzas in Verona. As you can see, there's all kinds of little cafes, vendors, always busy. The piazzas, the main piazzas, are always a great place to be. Then from Verona, we will continue on to the unique little town of Borghetto. And this is the on the top left-hand screen there is the Tower of the Vinscotti Bridge, an ancient 14th century fortified bridge, which has like an ancient water mill, a very interesting little town, which is, we'll travel by coach from Verona to this town, which is on the shores of Lake Garda. And it's a small hamlet, which was built on the water. So it's really quite unique. And it was been designated Italy's most beautiful village. And we will enjoy a delicious dinner here made of the famous homemade tortellini that Borghetto was very well known for. And as you can see from the images on the screen, it is a very charming, tiny hamlet. A very unique little spot to visit and spend a late afternoon and evening. On day 7, we will travel up to Lake Garda, and we will be traveling through many quaint villages, plenty of free time to explore a handful of the lakeside towns. You'll stop and have a visit to an olive oil museum in Cesano, and which is a very unique experience there. It's a family-run museum. You'll have a chance to taste some of the olive oil and learn the history of the processing of the olives and how it is made into the wonderful olive oil that we know today. And then we're not done. After we're done that, we're going to go for a wine tasting and tour to one of the vineyards and the cellar at the town of Bardolino. So it will be a more leisurely day of venturing through the Italian islands, through the different countryside and visiting, Cesano, Bardolino, the town of Garda, and again, a wonderful day of tasting, so a savory day. On day 8 is a free day for yourself at the town that we are in on Lake Garda. You can experience aspects of the Northern Lakes that most appeal to you. There's plenty of options. You can choose to spend the day wandering the narrow alleyways, visit the Castello, which is an ancient fortress at the quaint medieval village of Cimarroni, which is just a short drive from our hotel. Or maybe you'll simply just want to relax by venturing out to the beach across from our hotel. And an interesting option would be to visit a lavender farm. Yes, they do have lavender fields on the Northern Lakes of Italy, and you can go visit them. They will take you out to the fields. They'll take you through the processing, and you'll get to see the various products that are produced with the lavender that is grown in the hills of the Italian Lake region. Be an interesting day for sure. And on the top there, pictures, and on the bottom, that is the Castello in Scalagero, which I was mentioning earlier. And again, the beautiful shots of around the town and typical cobblestone streets, narrow alleyways, really a wonderful experience in these small towns on the Northern Lakes. Day 9 is the day that we are going to depart the northern lakes of Italy and head to Ravenna in Italy. And we'll travel by coach there to the port. And you will jump on your floating home for the next 7 days, the Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas. As we make our way to the port of Ravenna, we will make a stop at a Parmigiano factory. The region there close to Ravenna is known for its Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. So you will have an interesting tour, a savory tasting, and learn the process of how this tasty cheese is produced and the aging process that it goes through. And once you are on board the ship and your check-in process is done, you can, explore, venture out on the ship and make yourself a little bit more familiar with it. I've got some images here of the actual ship there on the top left. That is the Explorer of the Seas. And another couple of images there. The one in the center and the bottom right hand of your screen are of the Grand Promenade on the ship. It really is very expansive. I've got also the itinerary here of the ports of call that we will be stopping at on board the cruise on your starting again in Ravenna in Italy. We'll travel down into Santorini, Athens, up into Kotar and Zadar, and then back into Ravenna. Your first day at sea is sailing through. So it gives you an opportunity to make yourself familiar with your floating home and explore all that the ship has to offer. You can soak up the sunshine, chill out vibes at the adult-only solarium, indulge in an authentic Tuscan cuisine at Giovanni's table. You can catch a jaw-dropping original production in the main theater, and you can dance the night away if you wish. And if you want to keep your fitness routine, there is a walking and a running track for you to do up on the top deck. Get out and stretch your legs. You can enjoy some amazing views. There is plenty of entertainment on board this ship. Pardon me. And your first port of call is the beautiful island of Santorini. Really, Santorini is one of the world's most popular islands, and it's best known for its dramatic scenery, whitewashed villages, and its fiery volcanic activity. The caldera of Santorini is one of the only inhabited calderas in the world. And what is a caldera? Well, it's essentially a water-filled volcanic crater that was created by a massive eruption in ancient times. So when the ship drops anchor in the caldera, you're going to be tendered in smaller boats to the old pier, which is located directly below the town of Fira. And if you're looking at the center image there, I'm going to move my mouse and hopefully you can see it. But down here is the location of the old pier in Fira. And up here at the top is the town of Fira. So you can reach the town above via two methods. The traditional way is to walk up the 187 stairs, but the more convenient way would be to take the cable car. It's a short 3-minute ride on the cable car and about a 20-minute walk straight up on the 587 steps. Either way, you're going to be provided with incredible views. Santorini is one of my favorite of the Greek islands, and the remainder of the images you see on the screen here, I took when I visited on my last trip into Greece. Really, it's so easy to take beautiful pictures in Santorini. I highly recommend that you visit the town of Ia, which is spelled O-I-A, on Santorini. It's considered the island's most picturesque village, and you can meander along tiny paths squeezed between stark white villas. Take pictures of the Blue Dome Church, just as I had done, and view castle ruins, or dine in a Greek seafood, dine on some Greek seafood or the wonderful Greek salads in one of the waterfront tavernas. Ia's main street, which is the promenade, stretches along the whole town of Ia and delivers stunning views of the entire caldera. It is, as I said, absolutely stunning. The pictures on the bottom of your screen, both on the right and the left, are taken of the main promenade in the town of Ia. And it's just full of beautiful shops and little boutiques and wonderful little tavernas and cafes, and almost everything, virtually everything there overlooks and has that amazing view of the caldera. The image on the top left is actually a shot of the main town, Fira, where the port is, and I took that from on board the deck of the ship. And on the right hand there is one of the famous Blue Dome churches that are iconic of Santorini. The next port of call is the ancient city of Athens, which offers a looking glass really back into Greece's powerful ancient civilization. Athens is one of the oldest named cities in the world, having been continuously inhabited for around 5,000 years. It became the leading city of ancient Greece in the first millennium BC, and its cultural achievements during the 5th century BC laid the foundations of Western civilization today. Art lovers, foodies, and history buffs, you're all going to delight in the endless ancient ruins, museums, and tavernas of this city. It really is obviously a great port of call. One of the most iconic locations in Athens is, of course, the Acropolis. And really, these images here on your screen are, again, images that I took on one of our Westworld tours stops when we were in Athens. And so as you maneuver up the marble steps and through the Propylaea Gateway, you're going to get the first close-up view of the Parthenon. This iconic temple was dedicated to the goddess Athena, which is the city of Athens is named after. And all across the bottom of your screen is the Parthenon, images of the Parthenon. The Parthenon itself is a temple which originally held a 12-meter high gold and ivory statue of Athena, which was unfortunately destroyed in 426 AD. Once you've had a chance to view the Parthenon from all angles, you want to explore the other monuments on the Acropolis. And the temple there, which is on the top right, or pardon me, the top center and the left side of your screen, it was built on the sacred site where the goddess Athena is said to have planted the olive tree. The olive tree is a symbol of Athens and is said to bring peace and prosperity. These are all images that I took, again, as I mentioned, on our tour. And the image on the top right there, that's actually of a Roman theater, and that is just up at the top of the Acropolis as well. You get a really good view of that as well. It's an incredible experience being up there. Once you've finished the Acropolis, and I highly recommend that you stop at the Acropolis Museum, which, as you can see, is at the base of the Acropolis itself. It's definitely worth a visit. Here on the top right hand of your screen, you can see inside one of the areas in the museum itself is an incredible view looking up to the Acropolis. On the top left-hand side of your screen is an image of the outside as you're entering into the actual museum. You can see the floor is opened up there because it's actually built again on ancient ruins, and you can actually see them right there as they open them up. And you'll find that throughout the museum in different areas where they've uncovered it, and you can actually view what the city is now built on. On the left-hand side of your screen, these images were all taken inside the museum when I visited. On the left-hand side is a marble owl, and an owl is also a symbol of the city of Athens. Now, the ladies you see in the center of your screen, those are the actual original statues that were up on the Acropolis, on that building, one of the temples there that I showed you earlier in the earlier pictures on the previous slide. And pardon me, the up at the actual Acropolis, they are modern reproductions, and they've moved actual ones into the museum, obviously, to protect their integrity. It's a fabulous museum. You could spend hours alone in this museum. Highly recommend, if you can, to visit. And then the next area I would recommend you visit would be the Placa. And here is a shot of what you can expect to see when you visit the Placa. It's one of the oldest historical neighborhoods. And in fact, the neighborhood itself was originally developed mostly around the ancient ruins. And it has been, again, continuously inhabited since the days of ancient Greece. There's all kinds of shops and restaurants and, ruins around every corner. The main street, actually the main artery in the Placa itself has been in continuous use since ancient times, and is still in its same position as it was, which is remarkable. You'll find neoclassical buildings, ancient churches. There's so many things to see and do. It really is a great place to spend a little bit of extra time. And both the museum and the Placa, they kind of surround the Acropolis itself. So they're right one kind of next door to the other. Then once you're back on board the ship, the next day, which is day 13 of our tour, is another full day of at sea, and you can lounge on your sun deck, maybe have a game of mini golf. You might choose to go ice skating, because yes, there is an ice skating rink on board the ship. Either way, your views are amazing. The picture in the top center of your screen is one I took when I was on the Royal Caribbean cruise. And it's incredible. I absolutely loved it. You might choose to watch a nighttime movie while you're on board. They have an outdoor movie screen, and they do movies out around the pool area, which is really a fun way to spend an evening. Starlit night. It's a great way to spend. Or maybe you want to take in one of the specialty restaurants. They've got an Italian restaurant. They've got a steakhouse. They've got an Asian specialty restaurant. There's onboard shopping. There's actually 9 pools and whirlpools on board the ship. The ice skating rink, as I mentioned. There's also a full service spa. Maybe you want to pamper yourself after you've spent the day exploring Athens. The next port of call is another one of my favorite stops. It's in Qatar, Montenegro, which is a tiny port in an already tiny country, and but it really is larger than life. It's got a world of mighty forts and towering sea cliffs, and the air is filled with the refreshing smell of the ocean. And the streets, they truly are what you see on the screen there. They're just quaint and narrow and cobblestone and beautiful archways and an incredible church way up on the hill. Um, it's easy to spend an entire afternoon just wandering through the town of Kotar itself. And I would highly recommend that you do, if you get the chance and you're not too busy with your shore excursions, that this would be a great place just to kind of unwind and spend a day meandering through the tiny port town of Kotar in Montenegro. And your final stop is final port of call is in Zadar, Croatia. Now, Zadar is one of the Dalmatian coast's best kept secrets, and it's teeming with the centuries and centuries of charm. It's the oldest continuously inhabited Croatian city, and its time-worn history is perpetually on display among old city walls, Venetian gates, and I find it has a real zany way of life, which keeps it dynamic and thriving today, from the waterfront river promenade to the untouched surrounding islands. You can enter church treasuries here, bicycle around the old town if you want, or check out the fascinating museums. There are many different shore excursions that are available to purchase on board the cruise ship. And my favorite one, I think, which I think would be the most interesting one. Everybody has their personal choices, but for me, I would love to tour the old town of Zadar on one of the tuk-tuks, which is the three-wheeled vehicle there you can see on the center of your screen. It's open air, and you'll get commentary from your driver about the different sites as you tour around. I just think it would be so much fun. The images you're seeing here on your screen are typical images that you will see and experience when you're in Zadar. The one on the top left of your screen, that's an image taken from the water of the town of Zadar. So you can see the beautiful backdrops that these places are set in as well. And the image on the top right is one of the national parks, which you can do on a shore excursion as well if you're a little bit more adventurous and would like to get out in nature, check out the beautiful waterfalls. That would be a great choice for you as well. So that is your last port of call. And from there, we will cruise back into the port of Ravenna, disembark from the beautiful ship, and transfer to the Bologna airport for your return flight home. Or perhaps you might choose to spend a little bit more time in Italy and extend your time there, maybe tour up to Venice, which is a short distance away. Anyway, that is a real overview of our tour of the northern lakes of Italy and the Eastern Mediterranean cruise. Again, the dates are June 14th to June 29th. It's a total of 16 days. You're going to hit 4 different countries, and there's a total of 2 meals included on this amazing adventure. So now I'm going to invite Leanne to come back and join us, and we can get to any questions that you might have about this particular tour. One that I know that we get asked about so often is the currency. All you need to be concerned with on this particular tour is euros. Croatia, Montenegro, and Italy are all their official currency is now euro. I know Croatia used to have their own local currency, but as of January 2023, their official currency is now the euro. So thanks, Leanne, for joining me.
No problem. Okay, so we have a couple questions. So the first is, will you post a recording of this presentation? And where can you find the details on the accommodation specifics included for the land portion? So Bruce and Bev also ask about the link to the recording. So because you have signed up, you will be automatically sent just a follow-up email tomorrow with the recording. And you can also find it on our website under our tour presentations, but you will automatically be sent that tomorrow. Bruce also asks about the details of the accommodations. So you can send us either an email or you can reach out to your travel agent, and we'd be happy to get you all those details.
For sure.
And
The
then,
nice thing about this particular tour is you're only packing and unpacking 3 times. You've got only 2 hotels and then a cruise. So it's a really leisurely way of seeing the northern lakes of Italy and the Mediterranean for sure.
for sure. Okay. Barb asks, are clients able to choose their stateroom type and use previous cruising experience to further benefit on the cruise? Any idea of approximate costs for the meals not included? So Barbie, yes, you can choose your stateroom type. We'll have inside, outside, and balcony pricing available, which is available on our website. And yes, you can use your, if they've traveled with Royal Caribbean before, then you will be able to add their passenger number, their cruise number. With the cruise, though, your travel agent will be able to help you with that. And as far as costs for meals that are not included, that's so tough to answer. You know, it depends on what you eat. You know, if you want to go out to a fancy restaurant every night for dinner, or you know, if you have a larger lunch and just kind of do snacky type foods for dinner. So it all just depends on what type of, you know, meals you're having. I will also say that it is Europe, so it is going to be a little on the, you know, pricier side, but there's definitely going to be, you know, a wide range of restaurants available for all budgets.
Absolutely. You know, like there's smaller trattorias where you can just pop in and they'll have homemade sandwiches that you can purchase and wonderful, delicious sandwiches, fresh bread, fresh ingredients that are relatively inexpensive to have that type of a lunch or even an evening dinner, depending on, you know, what you've been doing throughout the day. So yeah, there is a wide variety of pricing choices available for dining throughout the tour.
And of course, there's always Italian pizza and pasta
Yes,
and the bread.
yes,
So
yes.
you make me
Oh,
hungry. So yeah, there's all
uh,
kinds of
yeah, exactly. And
me
our hotels,
hungry.
I have to say, our hotels are centrally located. Pardon me. So you're very close, within short walking distance of shops and trattorias and restaurants and which is very important. You're not stuck outside. You are centrally located, which makes a huge difference. It opens up your options for dining for sure.
Mhm. Perfect. Okay, so we had another question. How physically challenging is it, and is there a lot of walking on this tour?
That is a great question. Europe is always a lot of walking, way more than we would do on a North America tour. Some of the portside towns on this particular tour, or I shouldn't say portside towns, I should say the lake regions, you will notice there is a lot of uneven walks. You know, you're walking on cobblestones. There'll be a number of steps. That being said, on any of those local um, towns in northern Italy, you stay along the shoreline and you're on a relatively flat surface. The deeper you move into the towns, you will be going upstairs, and because most of them are built, you know, on a hill, the hillside as they come down into the lake. So there is more walking definitely, than we would on our North America tours because you can't get through these towns and experience them with a large vehicle, and many of them are walking streets only. So
Perfect. Okay, another question. On the sidewalk menu, what is moussaka? So that is actually an eggplant or a potato-based dish, which is often has included like ground meats, lamb
ground.
or beef, and it's common in the Balkans and the Middle East, but also in a modern Greek variety that
Yeah,
was created in the 1920s. So
yeah.
that's
And
looks
there's some more
delicious.
than just Greek restaurants around as well. You can get just about anything in any of those towns. But that was a great question.
Mhm. Okay, Belinda also asks, what language do they speak? Italian on the entire trip. Do I need to speak or learn the language, or do they speak English? Is it easy to communicate and get around?
Most of the places that we will be in are world class, are world known destinations, and they're very familiar. I had absolutely no issues with the language in Croatia, none with the language in Kotar and Montenegro. We will always have English speaking guides. Local guides will be English speaking as well. So your commentary that you're going to be receiving will be done in English. Um, there's always going to be this one little mom and pop shop that you might go into, but guarantee me they can speak better English than we can their language. And in Italy, I had no trouble whatsoever with any language. So I would say learning to speak the language is not an issue. Being able to say a few of the words, like hello or arrivederci, or few keywords are always good, like trattoria and aperitivo. You don't need to be able to speak a ton of Italian, just the odd keyword, and they really do appreciate you trying. But they can speak English, guaranteed.
Yeah. And the kids too, that you run into in the streets, they'll be able to speak English. They learn it in school, and they just can pick up on, those kinds of things a little bit easier than we can as we get older and learn about new languages.
Yes.
So, okay. I don't see any questions.
I can let you know that obviously you do need to have a passport, a valid Canadian passport, or a valid passport if you're not a Canadian citizen. No visas are required at this time for a stay of up to 60 days. And they really are very beautiful countries to visit, welcoming people. I love Italy. I've been 3 times now and wouldn't hesitate to go back again. As I mentioned, Santorini is definitely my favorite of the Greek Isles that I've been to. Croatia was lovely, and as well as Kotar, another dynamic little spot, a little gem, I would say, in this tour.
Perfect. We also have another question. Pricing is online, yes. Yes, Barb, our pricing is all on our website, so you can check out the different prices for the different categories of stateroom, which is what the pricing would be based off of for the cruise. It's all one price, but different because of the cruise portion. And yes, available from a travel agent. So yes, you can contact your local travel agent, and they will be able to help you get this booked, answer any questions, or find out any answers for you. Yeah, they'll have all the answers for you. And if they don't, they can definitely give us a call, or you can call us, send us an email. We're happy to help you out as well. We do have a question. Are the motor coaches bathroom equipped?
That's a great question. In Europe, the majority of the coaches do have onboard washrooms. Now, the problem is in Italy, getting the driver to unlock the door. So yes, they do have onboard washroom facilities, but they are not always available for use. That being said, our stops in as we're touring throughout are very regular. So you're never going to be on the coach long enough to really they're frequent enough that you wouldn't need to be concerned about it, really. The distances are short. They're not great, like touring in North America. Anything on Facebook, Leanne? Any questions on Facebook that we need to check out?
No questions there. Darlene says, thank you for all the information. We look forward to this trip. Thank you, Darlene. We look forward to having you join us. Belinda, thank you for a great presentation. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I guess if there are no other questions, then we will we will close for the evening. And as you know, you can always send us an email or pop us a message on Facebook, contact your local travel agent, and we would be happy to, and they would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
And thank you everybody for joining us this evening. Hopefully you can join us next week and on as we carry on with our presentation series.